What's up, nerds? What's up, nerds? Godmaster here with another Magic the Gathering puzzle quest. Today's quest, a continuation of our public service announcement from before about improving the quality of the meta. In fact, we're going to be adding some new focus for our attention to really improve the gameplay. And in addition to that, some gameplay. I'm actually going to be sharing with you another broken combo, of course, because there's not enough of them. This is a one-card broken combo. It's ridiculous. But first, a little math lesson. If you're not subscribed, allow me to share with you how important each subscription really is. If you've been paying attention to the weekend coalition events, those are set in 3,000 person brackets. So every time a 3,000th person joins a bracket, it flips. As a result, they get a new bracket in place and another 3,000 can fill that up, and then that flips. Some people wait for the flip. That way they're not fighting the strongest players in the game right away. They're waiting until that goes through, and then they're playing a smaller pool of people. This is a strategy that is viable. I've tested it out and it works really, really well. However, it works as long as there's people that are playing the event. Why am I telling you all of this? The event that starts on a Friday and ends on a Sunday, what's happening is the flip isn't happening until late Sunday, if it happens at all, which means we're barely getting 3,000 people to play in a weekend coalition event. That's just at platinum level. Now, we may have another 1,000 or 2 people that are playing at gold and bronze. So I'm going to say maybe we got about 5,000 active players in the game right now. And right now I have roughly 860 subs on my channel. So when I say every subscription really matters, I mean it really matters. I'm getting 500 people at a time, roughly. That means I'm getting roughly 10% of the viewership of everyone that's playing the game watching my channels. That is very exciting to hear. It's also very saddening to hear because we don't have enough players playing the game. So what does that have to do with subscriptions? What it does is it ensures that any new broken combos, any new deck builds that can actually help you win, and more importantly, enjoy the game, I'm going to be sharing with you right here if you're subscribed, and get into the Discord because we have the world's best players in there. All right, that's enough of that shilling. Let's get to the content. Let's actually give a big round of applause to Opperstamper, who's actually been really leading the charge and helping to organize and give constructive feedback to Octagon about how to improve the quality of this game. Octagon, before we begin any of this, thank you, thank you, thank you. And Octagon, please take this with love and the compassion we have in our hearts. Let me tell you something as somebody who provides content to us nerds. Nerds, us, myself included, are some of the most critical beings on the planet. All the stuff I've loved as a kid that I used to get teased about, Dungeons and Dragons, Magic the Gathering, comic books, all of this stuff we used to do, we would be making fun of. So for me, because that culture does mean something to us significantly, we are super protective of that culture. So Octagon, let it be known, this is how much we appreciate this game. It is part of our fiber. This is why we're so protective of it. On the other side, for my nerd friends, please, 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 please be respectful, right? This is a business, and as an entrepreneur, someone who's run businesses, I can speak very candidly about the responsibilities, the necessities, the difficulties, the challenges it takes from building a team, facilitating a product, especially one that's loved, but not getting the share that it absolutely deserves. What I know is if I could throw some Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk level cash at the game, it'd be a completely different level of focus, energy, attention, gameplay, which Octagon doesn't have. They have limited resources. So when we ask for things, we have to be realistic on what can be done. Trust me when I say they don't have unlimited resources. Opperstamper actually reached out to me and said, these are the list of concerns that I want to voice to these guys. To Opperstamper's credit, he took this list and we wound up, chit-chatting out and a couple other folks, what's up, Julie, and going through and kind of identifying, hey, I think these are the most priority things. So again, thank you, Opperstamper. And nerds, be respectful, support this, let's work together. Let's try to make a great game advancement, shall we? Let's get into it. All right, so concern number 1, unhealthy meta. I win buttons that have a dominant presence in standard format. We all know this. There are tons of different combos. I'm going to be spotlighting a bunch more of them. This is something we're working on. We're going to actually get out there. His suggestions, better design philosophy, yes. Pre-releasing testing, players who are willing to help with that. Octagon, if you take nothing else away from this, if there's a council of people, and I would love to be part of that if that's the case, but seniority, senior dogs, old dog players, should be considered for that first. But I would love to be on that. Give us a chance to be able to review those cards. I know what I do when I look at cards. What's my first thing? I look and see if I can break them. Can I break this card? Because my brain is like highly calculating this stuff. Give me a chance to look at them before you release them, and I'll give you some feedback. I know you do that in the pre-release. Going forward, I'm going to try to create that content, record it, and get it to you guys in advance so you guys can see that. If that's received, I don't know. I don't know if I should just stay in my lane and shut up, content creator, and just go make your little videos, or is it valued feedback? We don't know. Designing more and better anti-meta cards, I really like the idea of this, but I think the unhealthy meta is not necessarily because you guys don't care about the game or that it's poor game design. I think there's a prevalent thought here. Octagon is trying to port cards from Magic the Gathering, as in making this game as close to Magic the Gathering, the paper game, as it possibly can be. When the reality is this game is its own game. And so I think the first consideration should be not necessarily, hey, does it port correctly? It should be, does that break the meta first? And then can we make it as close to those cards as possible, but still really paying homage and first focus to Puzzle Quest? Because if we do that, I think a lot of our issues with cards go away. His suggestions are to introduce ban restricted list of specific events. Please note that combo and or loop decks should not be totally removed from Magic the Gathering Puzzle Quest. This is a legit playstyle that people enjoy. Just not the ridiculous ones that are the meta warping because it just makes players quit. Absolutely agree. I'm going to say this again very clearly because I know there's a lot of people out there that are just like me. We don't want to see these cards nerfed. I love playing with powerful cards. I don't want to see people quit. So if they're too easy and Greg can actually pull it off without really even trying, especially with the way he prioritizes cards, that's definitely something that needs to get nerfed because we don't want to see players quitting. Second point of emphasis here, bugs take too long before being addressed, sometimes more than a year, sometimes never at all. Pre-release testing, post-release testing, reward players for finding and reporting bugs. This is all well and good. My concern here is the manpower that Octagon actually has to facilitate fixing these bugs. So Octagon, if the only thing you take away from this video is that you work with a couple of key team members, maybe 10 to 20 of us, I'd love to be a part of it, of course, but if you put a playtesting group together to go and try to work out these bugs in advance, I don't know your time restrictions. I don't understand your guys' budget requirements. I don't know any of that stuff, right? Like as an entrepreneur, me to you guys, you can't just cater to whatever we want. It's impossible. However, if there is a way that we can help you save time, effort, and energy after the fact, reduce resource use for focusing back on fixing a game after the fact versus getting it right the first time, I personally believe if we can do that in a cost-efficient way for you guys, which obviously we're free testers, we're happy to do that, that should give you guys a heads up in advance because I know exactly what I would try to do. I would try to go break the game, right? It gives us a chance to be able to help you guys get feedback, make corrections, fix anything that might be overly broken by the council, and have somebody that's there that's actually for loops and against loops to be able to talk about them so that you guys can take that into your own consideration, redesign them. And I would assume it saves you guys extra coding expenses on the back end to try to fix something that rather would have been fixed and addressed in the first place, or at least corrected. So, or even if we determine that, hey, that's the way they're going to play, they're worded properly so they reflect the way that they're going to be played before they're released so that they aren't bugs. In fact, they're actually working as intended. So there you go. Next part, the game seems stale. So this isn't as much a concern on my part as it is feedback and the stale game for getting and attracting new players and keeping new players and keeping old players that are going to continue to spend money on the game. We want to keep this fresh. So here's some areas that Opera brings up, and I actually agree with a lot of these. 5% of the available Planeswalkers are used 95% of the time. I don't really hate or want to see those limited personally, okay? I like powerful Planeswalkers. However, there also should be counterbalances to those in the meta. So as strong as one Planeswalker is, there should be another Planeswalker that's the exact antithesis of that. Now, this is an area in Magic paper that I think we really should model, which is the meta always has a counterbalance. So it's like rock, paper, scissors. For blue control, there's red aggro. Super aggro, in green, you have go big strategies that the red guys can't get over, and then green winds up overwhelming them with trample, and that's how they win. Blue can beat green because if it's a slower play, they have time to control the board, counter, and do whatever they need to, but then red can beat that within those three colors, right? So that's kind of the model. We don't see enough consideration or enough development or focus on counter meta. So instead of seeing Dakin reduced in power, I would like to see the counter antithesis of that. So if I see Dakins across the board, I could pick another Planeswalker that works well against that. So there's a lot of things we can do that could actually have Planeswalkers go against each other in a more balanced fashion, but that's in design, guys. Another easier option that might be for you guys that I agree with here is you could actually do a banned list for specific events. Do not ban Planeswalkers. Like the Colors of Magic, I think is actually a really fun event. I really love the Colors of Magic event. But if we introduce new rules and new limitations and different things, test it out. We're open to it. And if you let us know, hey, we're going to test out these events. What do you guys think about this? Play it for a week and let us know. We'll give you feedback, nerds, be gentle, and tell you if we liked it or we didn't like it. I personally enjoy having limitations, forcing me to build with the rest of my cards, limiting us, and then making that the focus of the entire event. No mythics, no rares, no masterpieces. That's it. And it's just common uncommons. Cool. That would be a lot of fun. That forces us to use more of our cards and to get more experience and give the newer collectors a new way to compete against us. I think that would be fantastic. The second thing is 5% of the available cards are being used 95% of the time, i.e. Blade Coil Serpent. Come on, man. Balance cards, redesign objectives, redesign event rule supports, design more better anti-meta cards, introduce ban restricted list for specific events. Again, don't restrict the cards or ban them. Especially in like events like Trial of the Plains or that kind of thing. Let us go ham. And again, side note, my own note here, I don't want to see Legacy touched. I don't want anybody to touch Omniscience. Leave Omniscience alone. Legacy is that vast land of overpowered ridiculousness. There are more than enough cards in Standard for everybody who gets them to play against those OP decks in Legacy because the AI is not smart enough to run them properly. So we're fine. Omniscience is broken and it needs to be left broken because when you pull that card is one of the greatest feelings ever. I just pulled the holy grail of cards. And the way you guys have it, as difficult as it is to get, it's awesome when you actually pull that. So there you go. In specific events, I think there should be a retooling, a repurposing, a repowering of those cards to make it better. Delayed Standard is a bad decision. I don't know about this. I think delayed standard can be fine, but you just have to be hyper-focused on focusing on improving the quality of the cards coming into the game with design, and that's just going to be something you guys have to do. And another part 3 is the lack of new content. So section 4, there's no new events. We'd love to see some new events. You can read through the stuff he has here. Acquiring new cards is hard. The newest set is only rewarded in Trials of the Plane. There should be new ways for us to be able to get those. I like the way you guys do the sets for the events with the new event that's happening right now, or the newer event. I'm showing it on the screen here. I can't think of the name. But those trial or the planeswalkers, plane shifts, whatever they are, I like those a lot. They just should include the newest set always, though, is an easier way for us to get those. And the biggest one, guys, here is the lack of communication. We need, this is hard. But I'm noticing on social media, there's really no updates. It's only when you guys are doing some type of a push of event. It feels to me like there's not somebody in charge of social media. There's people doing other work. And then, oh, by the way, can you go update the social media? And communication is so down for us. Rebecca is amazing. Thank you guys for that. And who we have in the forums is amazing. And the other people that we see there that have the inside scoops, thank you guys for them. But in addition to that, it's really important that you guys are just clearly communicating with us. If you guys let us know what's going on, the more we can be on board with it. We want to help. Okty, I hope that you take from all of this that we're on board. We want to support you guys. We love this game, and we don't want to see it go the way of the dodo. I have been playing other games that have died recently, and it is disheartening because I love those games, and they're not there anymore. We don't want to see that happen with this game, so we are here for you guys to help make this go up and through the stratosphere. And I'm racking my brain on ways that we can actually bring in new players, just from a player base, not even just on your guys' side. But our focus is we want to produce and help here. Let us help. And the easiest way to do that is communicate with us. Let us know what's going on so that we can be a part of it, because we definitely love this game. We are protective of it, like our culture of nerddom dictates, and we definitely want to help support this. So if that's you and you're watching this as a nerd, comment below, let everybody know here. We're going to be passing this information on to Oktagon. Do you agree with this stuff? Is there something that's missing here you'd like to see? But in addition to that, alternate ideas for the things we're already seeing here. Let's focus on these 5 things. Let's concentrate really on these 5 things, players. This way we can help support Oktagon and help them. What can we help with? How can we help with this? That's the question I'm asking you. All right? Okty, thank you guys again. We love the game. That's why we're creating this content, because we love, love, love this game. And we thank you guys for as much effort and energy you put into it. We just want to help it move a little more streamlined for everybody involved. With that said, you guys want to see a broken combo? Let me show you, man. Hey, want to turn a Troxa into an OTK Gun of Death? It's easy. Here's how. First off, you want to have on the board Flame Shadow Conjuring or anything that gives haste to your creatures right away, because haste is best. You can use Sarkhan the Unbroken, and you can use his ultimate to get all 3 creatures in hand. It's very simple. You just have a Troxa as the only creature in your build, make room for 3 cards, and then make any swap go live. Here we go. Boom. Hey. Machine Gun Troxa. Wait for the loop timer. Hit yes. GG. Now, credit where credit is due. Somebody on my Reddit page actually made the recommendation. You can see their link here. Hope they give me their in-game name so I can shout them out. Great catch, great find, great suggestion, and it's very effective. You should get into my Discords, into Reddit. Follow me there. I'm in the channels. See me on the social medias or on Facebook, any of the places. And until our next quest, my friends, swords up. And I am not the be-all end-all. I'm just a dude playing the dude, pretending to be another dude, playing the game, making videos for you guys, trying to keep you guys entertained. However, and it's fun, right?